Hello viewers, hope you're doing well. Today in this video, we will see how can we send the Firebase push notification to the user and the multiple user by generating the FCM token. We will also implement the functionality to send the scheduled Firebase push notification to the users using MERN stack. So let's get started. I'm going to give you the vertical overview. So in this project, we have two different client-side applications. First for the admin, second for the normal user. The normal user application can able to generate the FCM token and receive the Firebase push notification that will send by the admin. On the other side, the admin application can able to send the push notification by entering the title, body, and the FCM token. Let's navigate to the client-side applications. As you can see the UI of the normal user application where we are generating the FCM token and showing it on the screen as you can see. So let me copy this token. Let's navigate to the UI of the admin application. As you can see the URL of the admin application that we have localhost colon 3002. As you can see the form with the different inputs like title, body, and the FCM token. Let me add here the title. Like this is title. Body we have that is this is body. Inside this input, I'm going to paste the FCM token that we have copied. Let me open the both screen at the same time. Let me drag the admin application into the right of the screen. The left, I'm going to select the normal user application. So let's click on the send button. As you can see, the notification we got with the title and the body. This type of notification called foreground. Let's send the foreground notification again. Let me update here the title. 5 weeks and the body we have hello from body. Let's click on the send button. As you can see, the notification we got with the title and the body. Now this time I'm going to send the background notification to the normal user application. So let me minimize this application. And I'm going to send the notification as a background. And we are getting here the background notification on the application URL. As you can see that we have localhost colon 3001. Title we have Firebase and the body that we have hello from body. So these are the features that we will implement in this project. Let me open the CMD into this folder. Let me paste here the command to create the new React app for the admin. As you can see the command that we have npx space create React app space name of the app that we have admin. Let's hit enter. As you can see, it start creating a new React app. Let me open another CMD to create the React app for the user. Let me paste here the command and name of the React app that we have user. Let's hit enter. As you can see, it start creating a new React app for the user. As you can see, both application created successfully. Let me close the CMD. And I'm going to open both application in the VS Code. Let's run the admin application first. So the command we have npm start. And then I'm going to run the user application. The admin application running on the URL that we have http://localhost:2000. Let me copy this. Let's navigate to the browser. As you can see the terminal of the user application where we have a question. So I'm going to select here yes. The user application running on this URL. Let me copy this. After creating the React application for the admin and the user, I'm going to install the React Bootstrap UI library in the admin application. So let me search here React Bootstrap. Let's click on the get started button. And I'm going to copy this command. Let's navigate to the admin React app. Open the new terminal and run this command. After this, I'm going to add this import inside the index.js. Let me add inside the index.js. As you can see, the UI library installed successfully. Now let's navigate to the browser. And I'm going to use the React Bootstrap button component. So let me copy this import. Let me paste inside the app.js. Let me move all of this code. And I'm going to use the React Bootstrap button. Let's navigate to the browser. As you can see, the button of the React Bootstrap. Inside this folder, I'm going to open the CMD. And here I'm going to write the command to create the new folder with the name admin node app. As you can see the command, let's hit enter. As you can see, the new folder created successfully. Let's go inside this folder. For the command we have cd, name of the folder that we have admin-node-app. Inside this folder, I'm going to write the command to initialize a new Node.js project. So the command we have npm init that we have initialize. Let's hit enter. I'm going to use the same name for the package name. Version we have 1.0.0. The description I'm going to write here, admin Firebase app. Let's hit enter. The entry point I'm going to add here, app.js. Leave it empty. Also this keywords author. Now I'm going to write here, yes. The Node.js project created successfully. Let me close the CMD and I'm going to open this project in the VS Code. As you can see, the package.json file where we have a different details of the project with the name, version, description. Now I'm going to open here the terminal. Inside this, I'm going to write the command to install the dependencies. So the first dependency we have Express for the web server. So the command we have npm install Express. Let's hit enter. As you can see, Express installed successfully. Now I'm going to create the entry point of our Node.js project that we have app.js. Inside this file, I'm going to import the Express. So let me define here the variable with the name Express, and I'm going to import Express. So it will be a required Express. After this, I'm going to create an instance of the app. So it will be a const app, and I'm going to initialize with the Express object. After this, I'm going to initialize a variable that we have port, where we will define the port of this Node.js project. That is a 300. After this, I'm going to call the method from the app instance that we have listen. Inside the argument of this, I'm going to pass the variable name that we have port, and it will be a arrow function. Inside this, I'm going to add the console.log to print the string in the terminal that we have app listening at http://localhost:/port that we have 300. After this, I'm going to install the NodeMoon in this project. So basically, the NodeMoon is a tool that helps develop Node.js application by automatically restarting the Node.js applications when file changes are detected in the directory. So let me write here the command that we have npm install NodeMoon. Let's hit enter. As you can see, NodeMoon installed successfully. Let's go inside the package.json. As you can see, the dependencies that we have Express and the NodeMoon. Now I'm going to add the start scripts. So the key we have start, and the value I'm going to add here that we have NodeMoon space app.js that we have the entry point of our Node project. Let me clear the terminal and I'm going to write the command to run the Node.js application. So the command we have npm start. Let's hit enter. As you can see, our Node.js application started successfully on this URL. Now I'm going to define sample endpoint inside the app.js. So it will be app.get. Inside this, first I'm going to define the path that we have slash. After this, we have the argument. First we have request, second we have response. Let me create another function. Inside this, I'm going to send the response that we have rest.send with the dummy string that we have hello world. Let me copy this URL. Let's navigate to the Postman. Let me enter here the URL that we have http://localhost:/3000. Mapping we have get. Let's click on the send button. As you can see, the status we got 200 okay, and inside the body we are getting the string. Let's navigate to the browser, and here I'm going to search Firebase. Let me open this link. Let's go to the console, and I'm going to create a new project on the Firebase. So let's click on the create a project button. Inside this, I'm going to write the name of the project that we have, Firebase push notification. Check these terms and conditions. Let's click on the continue button. Continue. Check this. Click on the create project. And it will take a couple of seconds. As you can see, our Firebase project is ready. Let's click on the continue button. Now I'm going to select the app to get started. So let me select here the web. Let me write here the name of the app that we have, React notification. Let's click on the register app. Now I'm going to copy this command to install the Firebase in our React project. So let's navigate to the VS Code. Let me open here the terminal, and I'm going to add here the command to install the Firebase in our project. Let's hit enter. As you can see, Firebase installed successfully. Let's go inside the package.json. As you can see, the dependency of the Firebase with the version 10.12.2. After this, I'm going to create a new file inside the public package with the name Firebase messaging-sw that we have service worker. The extension of the file is .js. Let's create this. Inside this file, we have to initialize the Firebase app for our project. So first of all, I'm going to import here the Firebase. As you can see, the imports of the Firebase. After this, we have a Firebase config. Let's go back to the browser and I'm going to copy this Firebase config. Let me add inside the service worker. After this, I'm going to initialize the Firebase app. So we have to pass the Firebase config to the argument of the initialize app method. After initializing the Firebase app, we have to retrieve the messaging from the Firebase, as you can see. Now I'm going to print the background notification to the console. So it will be a messaging dot on background message. In the argument, it will get a payload. Inside this, we have a console.log to print the payload into the console. Let's save this and I'm going to run the React application. So the command we have npm start. As you can see, our React application started successfully. As you can see the React application for the user. So I'm going to create a new folder inside the src package with the name util. Inside this, I'm going to create a new file with the name firebase utils.js. Inside this file, I'm going to add the Firebase config. So let's navigate to the browser, little bit scroll down. As you can see the Firebase config. So let me copy this. Let me add inside the Firebase utils. After this, I'm going to create a variable with the name rapid key. Let's go back to the browser and I'm going to generate the secret key for the Firebase. So let me click on this tab that we have cloud messaging. And I'm going to click on this button that we have generate key here. Let me copy this. Let's go back to the VS Code. Let me add the key inside the quotes. After this, I'm going to create a variable with the name app. And I'm going to initialize the app with the Firebase config. So it will be a initialize app from the Firebase/app. Inside the argument of this, I'm going to pass Firebase config. After this, I'm going to get the messaging. So it will be a const messaging. Let me call it the method that we have to get messaging from the Firebase/messaging. Inside the argument of this, I'm going to pass the instance that we have app. After this, I'm going to create a method with the name request FCM token. So it will be a export const name of the method that is a request FCM token. It will be a async function. Inside this method, I'm going to return notification dot request permission dot then. In the argument, I'm going to create a variable with the name permission, where we have to check if the permission is equals to guaranteed. Then I'm going to return get token. Inside the argument, I'm going to pass messaging. And second, I'm going to pass here the rapid key. Otherwise, I'm going to add here the else block where we have to throw the new error with the message notification permission not granted. So it will be a throw new error with the message notification not granted. Let me add here the catch block where we have to catch the error. Let me add here the console.error to print the error message that we have error getting FCM token. Let me add here the error that we are getting in the argument. And we have to throw here the error. Now let's go to the app.js. And here I'm going to remove this code. Let me create the state for the FCM token. So it will be a const name of the state FCM token. And here we have set FCM token. Use state that is by default null. After this, I'm going to add here the use effect hook. Inside this, I'm going to create a method with the name fetch FCM token. It will be a async. Inside this, I'm going to add here the try and the catch block. The catch block for catch an exception in case of method failing. In the argument of the catch, I'm going to get the error. Let me add here the console.error to print the error message that we have error getting FCM token. And I'm going to add here the error. Inside the try block, I'm going to call the method from the Firebase utils that we have request FCM token. It will be a await. And I'm going to create a variable with the name token. Save the response of this method. After getting the token, I'm going to call the use state that we have set FCM token. Inside the argument, I'm going to pass the token that we are getting on the response of this method. So we have to call this method after the implementation. So it will be a fetch FCM token. Let me add here the console.log to print the token into the console for now. Let's navigate to the browser. As you can see the dialog that we have, this URL wants to show notification. So I'm going to click on the allow button. We are getting here the FCM token, but with this, we are getting here the error with the import scripts inside the Firebase messaging service worker. Let's navigate to the VS Code. Let me open here the service worker, and I'm going to update the version of the imports that we have 8.2.0. Let's save this. Let's go back to the browser. Let me refresh this page. As you can see, error removed. Now we have to show this token on this page. So I'm going to install the React Bootstrap in our React application. Let me search here React Bootstrap. Let's click on the get started button. Little bit scroll down and I'm going to copy this command. Let's run this command inside the terminal of our React project. After this, I'm going to get the import that we have this. Let me copy this. Let's go to the index.js and I'm going to add the import inside this file. As you can see, React Bootstrap installed successfully. As you can see, the main div with the class container. Second, we have Firebase form. Third, we have padding 4. Inside this, we have a div with the class row. Inside this, I'm going to print the FCM token. If the FCM token exists, then we have to show this div. Now let's go to the app.css. Let me remove this. Let me add the CSS properties for the FCM token. Now let's go back to the browser. As you can see, the FCM token. All right, now I'm going to send the push notification from the Firebase. So let me copy this FCM token. Let's go to the browser. Let me add this product as a shortcut. Now I'm going to create a first campaign. Let me select this message type. Let's click on the create button. Now here I'm going to add the title like Firebase and the notification text that we have from body. Let's go back to the UI of the project. Let me open the inspect. Let's click on the send test message, and here I'm going to add the token that we have copied. Let's click on the test button to send the push notification. Let's go to the project UI. As you can see the console where we are getting the notification content with the title and the body. As you can see the Node.js project. So inside the terminal, I'm going to write the command to install the Firebase admin. So the command we have npm space install space Firebase -admin. Let's hit enter. As you can see, it start installing the Firebase admin in our Node.js project. As you can see, Firebase admin installed successfully. Let me open here the package.json. As you can see, the version of the Firebase admin that we have 12.2.0. Now after this, I'm going to get the Firebase admin SDK from the Firebase console. So let's navigate to the browser, go to the service accounts, and I'm going to generate a new private key. As you can see, it's downloaded successfully. Now I'm going to move this file inside the project directory. As you can see, the Node.js project. So here I'm going to create a new folder with the name src. Inside this, we have a folder with the name util. Inside this folder, I'm going to paste the file that we have copied. Let me update here the name of this file that we have, Firebase admin SDK.json. Now let's go back to the VS Code. As you can see the file of the Firebase admin SDK where we have a config for the admin. Now after this, I'm going to create a new file inside the utils package with the name firebase.js. Inside this, I'm going to write the code to initialize the admin. So let's go back to the browser. Let me copy this code. Let me add inside the firebase.js file. After this, we have to export this admin. So it will be a module.exports. And we have to port the admin. Let me update here the path of the Firebase admin SDK. Okay, so we have added the extension 2 times. Let me remove the Node.json. Now I'm going to update the path of the Firebase admin SDK. Now after this, I'm going to create a new folder inside the src with the name service. In this folder, I'm going to create a file with the name notification service.js. Inside this class, I'm going to import the admin from the utils package. So let me create the object of the admin, and here I'm going to add the path inside the require. It will be a /util/firebase. After this, I'm going to create a class that we have notification service. Inside this, we have a static async function with the name send notification. So it will be a static async send notification. Inside the argument, it will get device token, title, and the body. So the first we have device token. Second, we have title. Third, we have body. Inside this method, I'm going to create an object of the message. So it will be a const name of the object, and that we have message. Inside this, we have an object with the name notification, where we have to give the title and the body. Outside of the notification, I'm going to add here the token with the key token and the value that we have device token. After this object, I'm going to add here the try and the catch block. Catch block for catch an exception in case of method failing. So you catch an error, and I'm going to throw here the error. Inside the try block, I'm going to call the method from the admin that we have messaging dot send. Inside the argument of the send, I'm going to pass here the object that we have message. Let me add here the await, and I'm going to create an object with the name response, and we have to return this response. After this, I'm going to export the notification service. So it will be a module.exports. It will be a notification service. So first of all, I'm going to create a new folder inside the SRC with the name routes. Inside this, we have a file with the name Firebase route.js. On the top, I'm going to import Express. After importing the Express, I'm going to create an instance of the router. So it will be a const router, and we have to initialize with the express.router. And we have to export the router. So it will be a module.ports equals to router. After writing the basic implementation of the Firebase route, I'm going to install body parser in our Node.js project. So the command we have npm install body-parser. As you can see, the version of the body parser that we have 1.20.2. Now let's go to the app.js, and here I'm going to import body parser. After importing the body parser, I'm going to create body parser middleware. So let me remove this endpoint. So we have to call the instance that we have app.use. Inside the argument of this, I'm going to pass body parser.json. To this, I'm going to import Firebase route. So let me add here the path that we have src/routes/Firebase route, and we have to initialize this route. So it will be a app.use. Inside the codes, I'm going to write the base URL that we have /API/Firebase, and we have to navigate the request to this route that we have Firebase route. After this, I'm going to create a new folder inside the SRC with the name controllers. Inside this, I'm going to create a new file with the name Firebase controller.js. On the top, I'm going to import notification service. So it will be a const notification service. Let me add here the path that we have /service/notification service. After importing the notification service, I'm going to create a method with the name send Firebase notification. So it will be a async. Inside the argument of the async, I'm going to add request and the response. Inside this method, I'm going to add here the try and the catch block. The catch block will catch an exception in case of API failing. So let me catch here the error. And we have to send the response. So it will be a restart status that we have 500 and the message in the type of a JSON that we have error sending notification. After this, I'm going to send here the success that we have false. Now inside the try block, I'm going to get the title, body, and the device token from the request body. So first we have title, second we have body, third we have device token, and we have to get this from the request body. After getting the title, body, and the device token, I'm going to call the notification service and the method that we have send notification. As you can see, the notification service where we are getting device token, title, and the body. So let me copy this. Let me add inside the argument of this method. So it will be a await. After calling the method, we have to send the response. So let me copy this. Let me add after that. So the status that we have 200 OK, and the message notification sent successfully, and the success that we have to. Let me update here the spelling of the success. Now we have to export this method. So it will be a module.exports. That is a send Firebase notification. After creating this method inside the Firebase controller, let's go back to the Firebase route. And here I'm going to call the instance that we have router mapping we have post. Inside the codes, I'm going to define the path of this endpoint that we have /send-notification. So it will be a async. Inside the argument, I'm going to add request and the response. Inside this, I'm going to call the method from the Firebase controller. So let me import here the method from the Firebase controller that we have and Firebase notification. We added the path that we have /controller/Firebase controller. So let me call here the method. Inside the argument, we have to pass request and the response. So it will be await, and I'm going to say the response of this method into this variable that we have result, and we have to return the result. So it will be a response send, that is the result. Let's navigate to the postman. As you can see, the URL of the endpoint that we have /API/Firebase/send notification mapping we have post. Inside the body, we have a title, body, and the device token in the type of a JSON. So let me add here the device token that we'll get from the user React project. So let me copy this. Let me add inside this codes. Let's click on the send button to send the push notification to the user. As you can see the console where we are not getting any response. So let's go back to the VS Code. As you can see, we are getting the error. Let's resolve this issue. So I'm going to remove this curly braces around this export. Let's go back to the Firebase route, and I'm going to remove the curly braces. Now, as you can see, it's navigating us to the Firebase controller. Let's navigate to the Postman, and I'm going to hit the endpoint. As you can see, the status we got 200 OK, and we're getting the message inside the body that we have notification sent successfully. Let's go back to the browser. As you can see the console where we are getting the background message. The default Chrome browser notification pop-up is not showing here because I'm sharing my screen on the Zoom. That's why it's not showing. I will attach the screenshot of the notification that we got by the default behavior of the Chrome. As you can see, the project of the user. Let's go inside the utils package. And here inside the Firebase utils file, I'm going to create a method with the name onMessageListener. So it will be export of onMessageListener. Inside this, I'm going to create a new promise where we have to get the result. Let me create an arrow function. Inside this, we have to call the method that we have onMessage from the Firebase messaging. As you can see, first we have to pass it the messaging that we have the initialization of the get messaging. It will give us a payload. Let me create an arrow function, and we have to pass here the result. Inside the argument, I'm going to pass the payload. Now let's go to the app.js. Let me import the method that we have onMessageListener. So here I'm going to call the method that is a onMessageListener.then. It will get payload. Let me create another function. And here I'm going to add the console.log to print the foreground notification. Let me add here the string that is a received foreground message. In case of error, I'm going to add here the catch block where we have to catch the error. And here I'm going to add the console.error to print the error message. Now after this, I'm going to install React.js in our React project. As you can see, React.js installed successfully. Let's go to the index.js, and here I'm going to add the import of the React.js. As you can see, let's go back to the app.js. So here I'm going to use toast container from the React.js. As you can see, the method that we have onMessageListener. After getting the payload, I'm going to show here the toast where we have a content with the notification title and the body. So let me add in the div. Inside this, we have a first tag that is a strong where we have to print the notification title. So it will be a payload.notification.title. Second, we have to show the body. After this, I'm going to define here the position of the toast, and that is a top right. Let me add here the hyphen. Now let's go to the UI. As you can see, we are getting the error at the line 22 in the app.js. So let me check what is the issue. Let's go to the Firebase utils. Let me add here the return. Let's save this. Let's go back to the browser. Now, as you can see, we are getting here the FCM token. Let me copy this token. Let's go to the Postman. Let me add here the token inside the body tab. Let's click on the send button. As you can see, the status we got 200 OK, and we are getting here the background message. Now let me drag this browser inside the right of the screen, and on the left I'm going to open Postman. Let's hit the endpoint again. As you can see, we are getting here the notification with the title and the body, but we are getting the title and the body in the same line. So let's go back to the VS Code. Let me add here the div on the place of the strong. Let's hit the endpoint again. Now, as you can see, the notification we got with the title and the body, and you can see here the console where we are getting the foreground message. As you can see, the app.js. So first of all, I'm going to create the static form where we have a different inputs like title, body, FCM token, and the submit button. So first of all, I'm going to add here the main div with the class Firebase form. After this, we have a bootstrap class that is a padding 4, and the third we have container. Inside this, we have a h1 tag with the caption Firebase push notification. That is the title of our form. Inside this, we have a div with the class row. As you can see, inside the div of the row, I'm going to add the div where we have an input for the title. As you can see, the input for the title. As you can see, the import of the floating label and the form from the React Bootstrap. After this, we have an input for the body. As you can see, the input where we have a label that is a body. After the body input, I'm going to add here the input for the FCM token. As you can see the input for the FCM token. At the last, we have a button with the caption send. As you can see the button, let me add here the caption of the button, that is a send. After this, let's go to the app.css, and here I'm going to add the styling properties for our Firebase form. As you can see, the styling properties for the Firebase form, and you can see here the HTML code of the Firebase push notification form. Let's navigate to the browser. As you can see the form where we have a different inputs like title, body, FCM token, and the button to submit this form. So let's go back to the VS Code, and I'm going to make this form functional. So let me create the use state for the title, body, and the FCM token. So the first we have title, set title. It will be a from use state, that is by default null. Let me duplicate these lines. Second we have body, that is a set body, that is by default null. Let me update here the spelling of the title. At the last we have FCM token, that is also by default null. After this, I'm going to create a method with the name handle push notification. So it will be a const handle push notification. It will be a async. Inside the argument, it will get an event. Inside this method, I'm going to add this, that is a e.prevent default. This thing will not reload the form while submitting. For this, I'm going to add the console.log to print the form values in the console. So first, I'm going to print the title, second body, third we have FCM token. We have to call this method on the click event. So let me add here the event that we have on click, where we have to call this method, that is a handle push notification. Let me create another state for the loading, and it will be a set loading, that is by default false. Before submitting the form, I'm going to set the value of the loading true, and after the successful submission of the form, then we have to set the value false of the loading. So we have to disable the button until if the loading has the true value. And here I'm going to update the caption of the button when the loading has the true value. So we have to check here the loading. If the loading has true value, then we have to show the caption that is a sending. Otherwise, we have to show send. After this, we have to bind these inputs with the states. So let me use here the property that is a value. We have to bind this input with the use state that is a title. After this, we have a on change event where we have to set the value of the title on the every click of the button. So it will be a set title. Inside the argument, we have to pass e dot target dot value. Let me copy this. Let me add on the input of the body. So we have to bind this with the body state, and it will be a set body. At the last, we have FCM token. So we have to bind this with the FCM token, and we have to set here the FCM token. Now you can take a look of the app.js. Let's go back to the browser. Let me open here the inspect. As you can see, we are getting the warning in the console. So let's fix this. Let's go back to the VS Code, and I'm going to add here the empty codes on the place of the null. Let's save this. Let's go back to the browser. As you can see, warning removed. Now I'm going to fill the form with the title, body, and the FCM token like the term screen. Let's click on the send button. As you can see, we are getting the values of the form with the title, body, and the FCM token. So first of all, I'm going to install the Express. So the command we have npm install Express. Let's hit enter. As you can see, Express installed successfully. After this, I'm going to install React.js. As you can see, React.js installed successfully. Let's go to the React project of the user. From the index.js, I'm going to copy this import that we have, React.js. Let's go back to the React project of the admin. Let me add inside the index.js. Now after this, I'm going to add the try and the catch block. The catch block will catch an exception in case of API failing. So we have to catch here the error. And here I'm going to add the console.error to print the error message. After the catch block, I'm going to add here the finally block, where we have to set the loading false. Let me remove this console, and inside the try block, I'm going to create an object with the name and data, where we have to set the title. Second, I'm going to set here body. At the last, I'm going to set here the FCM token. After this, I'm going to call the axis and the mapping we have post. Inside the quotes, I'm going to edit the URL of the endpoint. So let's navigate to the postman. Let me copy this URL. Let me add inside the quotes. After this, we have to pass here the data object where we have a title, body, and the FCM token. Let me add here the await, and I'm going to save the response of the API into this object, and that is the result. After this, I'm going to add here the console.log to print the result into the console. After getting the result, I'm going to add here the condition where we have to check if the result.status triple is equals to 200. Then we have to show here the toast notification with the caption notification sent successfully. So first of all, we have to use here the tag, and that is a toast container from the React Toastify. Let's go to the project of the user, and I'm going to copy this. Let me add inside the if block, and here I'm going to write the caption of the notification, that is a notification sent successfully. Let me import the toast from the React Toastify, and here I'm going to add the else block where we have to show error toast with the caption failed to send a notification, and it will be a dot success. Now let's navigate to the browser. Let's fill the form like the title, Firebase, body we have hello from body, and that same token. Let me get from here. Let's click on the send button. Let me check why it's not working. Let me open it the inspect. Let's go to the network tab. Okay, so we are getting here the error with the course. Let's go to the Node.js application. Let me open here the new terminal, and here I'm going to write the command to install the course. As you can see, course installed successfully. Now I'm going to import the course. So we have to use the course inside the app.use. Now let's go back to the browser. Let's click on the send button again. We are getting at the status that we have 500. Let me check what is the issue. Okay, so we have to pass here the title, body, and the device token, not the FCM token. Let me update the variable name that we have device token. Let's go back to the browser. Let's click on the send button again. As you can see, we are getting the notifications. As you can see, the Node.js application of the admin. So first of all, I'm going to install the cron in the Node.js project. So the command we have npm install cron. Let's hit enter. As you can see, cron installed successfully in our Node.js project. So inside the async controller, I'm going to create a new async function with the name send every minute notification. Inside this method, I'm going to create a variable with the name title. Let me define the title like every minute notification. Second variable with the name body, where we have a value hello from body. After this, we have a device token. Let me get the device token. Let me add inside these codes. Now after this, I'm going to call the method from the notification service that we have send notification. Inside the argument, we have to pass title, body, and the device token, and it will be a await. After creating the method, I'm going to export this method. So let me add here the curly braces, and with this, we have to pass the method name that is a send every minute notification. Now let's go to the Firebase route. Let me wrap this import with the curly braces. After this, let's go to the app.js, and here I'm going to import node cron. So let me call it the instance that is a cron.schedule. I'm going to define here the time, like when we want to send the notification. So I'm adding here the 1 minute. So it will be a async. Inside this, I'm going to call the method from the Firebase controller that we have send every minute notification. So let me import here. So inside this method, we have to call the method that is a every minute notification, and it will be a await. And here I'm going to add the console.log to print the message on the console like sending every minute. Let me check what errors we are getting in the console. Okay, so we are getting the error that is a cannot find module node cron. Actually, the command that we have npm install node cron. Let's hit enter. As you can see, node cron installed successfully, and you can see the version of the cron that we have 3.1.7, and you can see here error removed. Now let's go to the UI. Let me drag this application into the right of the screen. As you can see, we are getting the notification. As you can see the notification service. So I'm going to duplicate the async method with the name send notification. Let me update here the method name that we have send multiple notification. Inside the argument, it will get a list of device tokens, title, and the body. Let me remove this. So I'm going to add the loop on the device token. So it will be a device token dot map. Inside this, I'm going to create a variable with the name token. Let me create here an arrow function. Now here inside this, I'm going to create an object that is a notification, where we have to set the title and the body that we are getting inside the argument. After this, I'm going to set here the token that we'll get from this variable that is a token. So we have to assign the token. Let me update here the object name that we have messages. After this, I'm going to call the method from the admin that is a admin.messaging.send each. Inside the argument, we have to pass here the object that is a messages. Now let's go to the Firebase controller. Let me duplicate this method. And I'm going to update the method name that is a send multiple Firebase notification. So we have to get the device tokens from the request body. So it will be a device tokens. And after this, I'm going to call the method from the notification service that is a send multiple notification. And we have to pass here the device tokens, title and the body. Let me export this method. Let's go to the Firebase route. So here I'm going to import the method with the name send multiple Firebase notification. Let me duplicate this route. Let me update here the URL that we have send multiple notifications. So we have to call here the method that is a send multiple Firebase notification. Now, as you can see, the implementation of the send multiple Firebase notification. Let's go to the browser. As you can see, the first FCM token. Let's navigate to the second browser. And as you can see, the second FCM token. Now let's navigate to the Postman. As you can see, the URL of the endpoint that we have /API/Firebase/send multiple notifications. Mapping we have post. Inside the body, we are passing here the title, body, and the device tokens that we have in the form of array. As you can see, we are getting here the notification. We are getting here the background notification as well. So that's all for now from my side. If you have any confusion, you can do comment. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.